Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Untold Hypothesis, presented by the Department of Life Sciences, Kristu Jayanti University. Today, we have an esteemed dignitary guest with us, the founder and the MD of Maithri Aquatech, Mr. Ramkrishna Mukkavilli. Thank you for being with us here
Thank you
today,
very
sir.
much.
So, sir, starting off with the audience that is, hearing us today, we would like to know about how your journey has started. So, could you give us more information about it?
Yeah, see, I did mechanical engineering. Post mechanical engineering, I was working for few select companies like Hitachi Air Conditioning, Mysore Kirloskar. Then got into consulting business way back in 1993. Then continued with consulting till 2014 before I acquired a first manufacturing business of mine, which is an American company,
Mhm.
Kistler and Morse. Then post that 2016, I started atmospheric water generator manufacturing company called Maithri Aquatech, and it all started in 2016.
So, sir, you said you started your journey at 2016, right? Which is like, you changed your careers over time. You were an engineer, then you went into consulting. What made you choose, such an innovative technology to, make?
See, the inspiration for this particular business came because in my childhood, I have seen my mother. We were part of that Marathwada region where my mother used to get up at 1 o'clock to get the water, and every day, even after a lot of struggle, they used to get only one and a half buckets of water, or sometimes not even one bucket of water. So I have seen her. So that the pain was always there in my mind that I think things should have been better. So water was always dear to me, and I was working on how we can do something for it. And I have a lot of data points about the water in the air. It's only a question of having a right technology because the world has been working for the on this technology for quite some time, but they did not build it at a scale. So I said, water we must work at a scale. And Honorable Prime Minister, when he went to Israel in 2016, he made a statement that India should have this water from air technology. And that was the point where I, whatever work I was doing, converted into a commercial product.
So, when did you have this particular idea? Like, was it like a eureka moment, or was it something that you have been building slowly over the years?
See, somewhere around 2010, 2011, there was an article about water from air and how this can help to solve the water problem because this is the purest water, and how people in Africa, people in rest of the world are suffering because of lack of having water. And 85% of the diseases are waterborne.
Mm-hmm.
I said the demand for the pure, and why should a child suffer for a want of a pure water which is available in the nature, and we just have to convert that. So that point triggered that I should do this work, and 2010 was the year where I started working on that.
So, you basically are an innovator ahead of time because now
Yeah,
even.
quite ahead of a time because when 2000, but we were ahead of a time, I did not conclude it. So the point of inflection, the important the point came only in 2016 when Honorable Prime Minister made a comment that India should have this technology. Then I realized that okay, now we will have a policy support also for this kind of a technology, and we moved on.
So, sir, your Maitri's Architect flagship is Meghdoot, which is a very interesting name. How did you come up with Meghdoot as like an idea, your flagship idea?
See, at any given point of time, there is more water in air than all the rivers put together,
Hmm.
and 41%, 41 times in a year it gets replenished. And out of whatever is the water in the air, 10% come from the plant transpiration. So it has become a very predictable thing. And I realized that more or less the weather patterns across the are very steady, except you will have 3 months summer, 3 months winter, 3 months rainy season. So we could develop a product. I know that the challenge will be to build a product which will work across geographical conditions, across weather conditions. Because what happens in rainy season, you'll have more humidity, and you'll have summer, you'll have a low humidity. So we want to build a product. So we focus very deeply into the technology side of it. At the same time, we are also very aware and conscious of the fact that we have to be sustainable, environmentally sustainable, so that it should not violate any one of those c- conditions on the framework of environmental sustainability. So within through that only we build this completely Meghdut, which we use different technologies we used, and then we realized that the best one is to use the condensation technology to build Meghdut.
So, sir, when you said that, you were very big on sustainability, what are your views on today's, technology that is people coming up, such as innovators, young innovators like myself or my generation? How would you like tell them that as they gone on to their entrepreneur journey, what advice can you give on them, especially who are working on sustainable models like once you did?
See, the most important aspect is we have to understand what kind of a thing can disrupt our business, what kind of innovations can come, like AI is a phenomenal if you use it as an enabler.
Mm-hmm.
So you use AI, you use IoT, you use all the data points to build a better innovation. But the problem that you identify should be very important. The problem that you identify should have a purpose, should have an impact, and should be at a scale. So you got to see the problem which have some real purpose, backed up by if it can use the technology to scale up. That will be the best idea that can come up, because you need a scale and you also need a real problem solving this solution also.
So basically, your journey has been that necessity is the mother of all
Yes.
innovations. So you have been an entrepreneur for long. You were a mechanical engineering student, and then you went on to so many different domains. What would you say, or what experiences, in fact, have shaped your journey over the years?
See, I can only say one thing: India is a very aspiring country with 150 crore population. We have a lot of problems which got to be solved in order to become a developed country. Each one of us, if we play our role, there are jillion problems that can be solved to make this country better, to make life of our Indians better, to make the complete flora fauna. Also, we have to take care. See, we are not in isolation. The world doesn't belong to only human. The flora and fauna have the same rights that human, because so we have to make sure that we take care of them. So every solution that we build should take care of those things. And first thing is, you fail, you win, you lose, but you have to be persistent. Your decision to be in the business should not be dependent on some transactional successes and failure. If you are playing a transformational game, you should have the patience to till the transformation happens. It takes. So my suggestion is to people should have the patience, persistence to make it happen.
So also, I would like to ask you one question, that to reach this height of success, you must have failed somewhere. So how did you take that failure and turn it into a success story?
See, every failure leaves a feeling of hurt.
Mm.
Every failure leaves self doubt. Am I capable? Am I right? Am I doing right thing? And the people around you first discount you. They say that I think you were too fast, you are ahead of a time,
Mm-hmm.
you did not care, you did not. But finally, we have to live life in spite of. In spite of all these things going wrong, you have to tell, I will make it happen. It may take longer time. Sometimes we may get success faster. But the most important thing is, I keep telling, it's only a player who wins or loses. Spectator will never lose. He will continue to watch any match, any game, anywhere. But a player loses, a player wins. But once you have decided to play the game, then you keep practicing.
Mm-hmm.
You lose some, you win some.
That's a phenomenal thing, sir. Especially hearing, like, for me as a young generation, it really fills me up with some hope that even if I lose sometimes, I am the player, not a spectator. Also, sir, I would like to ask you that your now technology is in 27 plus countries, is going global. When you look back at from the perspective of a young man that you were, who was once a student studying engineer, how do you look at your journey, sir?
Very satisfying. But same time, I feel your generation is far more blessed, because when we started, there was no mobile, there was no telephone. Even to get a call, a STD call was different. There was no. So at that, in those days, we used to think that information is a king of everything. If you have information,
Mm-hmm.
we can do business. Now information is available with everybody. So the center of gravity, the fulcrum has shifted from information to execution, information to the scale. So, so now when we started, I feel had I had access to this much of technology and this much of this thing, maybe I would have gone global way ahead than what I could do. And that, I think, is a phenomenal opportunity for all the youngsters.
Also, sir, could you give us some tips to students who are watching, who want to, switch fields and, become innovators, become creators of their own reality? What would you advise them to do when they're, coming up in this field of business?
The originality of the idea, clarity of the idea is very important. The problem statement that you are identifying is very critical. If you identify the right problem statement, automatically the right solution will come. Because if your problem is wrong, or you are trying to identify a wrong problem or find a solution for a wrong problem, then you will not get a. So first you have to identify the right problem, then work around what kind of a solution that can go into it. Once you know that this is the problem and this is the solution, mark my words, a day early, a day later, you will be successful.
That's such a wonderful thing to say, sir. Saying on it, like going stressing more on it, were there days where you really doubted yourself? You really doubted the journey that you have been on, like perhaps maybe when you were 30, perhaps when you were like at 35. Did you really doubt that maybe this path isn't for me? And how did you overcome it?
Many a time, see what happens, self doubt is very common. There were many days where I was all alone, feeling very low, whether I'll ever be successful, why I'm not getting a breakthrough, everybody around is becoming so successful. It's so natural to have it, so natural to have it. But you have to live with it. That's why I said, in spite of all those failures, every day you do not know what kind of an opportunity is going to get for you. Every day is a new day. Every day can get you a new opportunity. So we have got to, when we get up from the bed, we have to realize that we are getting into a new world of opportunities. We have to again start going back to the drawing board, work again, and it requires patience. But then yes, I do have a lot of days where I was very low, not able to overcome my feeling that why I'm not successful so fast when others are so. But I think over a period of time, you mature enough to understand that this is a part of the game. They say, na, somebody is successful overnight, but nobody knows how long the night was.
Quite true, sir.
Thank you.
Also, sir, your technology has received many recognitions, even from the government of India, the Jal Shakti Union of India. Also, the Ghanaian ambassador is interested, the Kenyan ambassador is interested in your technology, sir. What is now the future of Maithri Aquatech? What is now going forward?
We are now present in 45 countries. We have 2,500 installations globally. We are producing around 3 million liters of water. Aspiration is to build 1 billion liters of water every day, save 2 billion liters of water every day for Mother Earth. And the water intensive businesses that are coming, like data centers, green hydrogen, fab, we should be a source of water for them so that they don't use the groundwater and they don't deprive flora, fauna, and human of that area of water, and we give them a quality water and build a better world.
So, sir, how do you look like today's model world, right? AI is becoming the new generation. Like our generation is being, taught by AI. We are being reliant on AI. How do you think your endeavor, Maithri Aquatech, will change the future of AI? Because as we know that to generate a single chat GPT picture, it takes around 10 liters of water at once. So do you think this will now change the scene of how, water consumption around the world is taking place?
Exactly. I think the entire technology innovation that is happening is water guzzler. And there's no water. Right now, the 40 to 50% deficit. There are a lot of cities in this country, a lot of places in this world which will go out of water. So, a fine balance have to be created. So, world will be compelled to explore the other opportunities of creating water, and Maithri will play a huge role. Not only Maithri, this technology will play a huge role in creating complementing solutions of water along with the existing surface and groundwaters.
So, sir, when we talk about this, do you think that you have more breakthroughs to come? Because as an innovator, you're always innovating. You're looking for more ways to, make your new endeavor successful. Do you think you'll come up with more innovations?
Definitely, I see. Innovation comes from day-to-day life observation. It won't come from the sky. You have to observe every day. When you go to the market, when you see somebody struggling, what are the real life problem people are struggling? People are struggling for petrol, if there is no fuel, people are struggling for batteries which run out, are not chargeable, they don't run a distance, then you need a better batteries, you need a better material. So whatever, every day morning when you get up, see what are the real problem being faced by world at large, and then you try to pick up one problem that you think you will be able to address it. The innovation will continue to happen. What is innovation? Innovation is nothing but identifying a solution for some problem which is existing and do it better than what it is available today. So it will continue to happen. And many youngsters like you will do thousands of innovations because we are just beginning of the story. See, we came with the lead acid battery, then we came with the lithium ion battery. Now we are talking about a sodium ion battery. So now lithium was the innovation. So if sodium is an innovation, now what, you don't know what next will happen in the world.
Also, sir, I would love to ask you this question because you have been an engineer, you have studied engineering. So, when you were studying in college, did you think you will go on to do such great things? Did you have an inkling inside of that I am made for something much bigger?
To be honest, no. To be honest, no. But one thing was always there in my mind. I never wanted to live off a Me Too life. I wanted to do with something different. I knew that one day everybody is born to die, but I said my death should not be a very natural. My death should be something which is something which have some purpose. I should live my life with a purpose, success and failure. Because I was never driven by money, so that was not my agenda. So the bigger thing was to do something better for the world.
So, you basically listen to that inner voice saying,
Obviously, that's what drives. End of the day, it's only the inner voice. What keeps you motivated in spite of everything going right or wrong is only your inner voice.
true, sir. I believe the problem with my generation is we tend to give up very easily. The inner voice of us, we like to subdue it. So, sir, what would you advise give us today if we face failures, if we face rejections, to wake up again and, listen to our inner voice so that we could do greater things in the future?
My advice to this generation youngsters is don't go by social media pressures. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. The problem is you are all over the time, all over the place trying to prove it to somebody, trying to get somebody's validation. Why should somebody validate? After all, it's your life. Your parents brought you to this world. They paid for you. They are, so you be what you are. Why are, okay? If you fail, you fail. Why you want to be successful for somebody else? Even if you are successful for somebody else, how does it going to matter if you are not happy with it? So be your own. If failing is okay, part of it, listen to you, and it's perfectly all right to fail instead of be a successful mediocre.
That's quite a beautiful thing to say, sir. Be a successful mediocre, but do something in life. So, sir, to wrap up this question, I would like to ask you one last question. If you could meet your 20-year self today who is studying, who does not know what the future holds, what would you tell him?
Interesting question. First, understand the ecosystem well. What are the options that are available? What is happening? What kind of innovations that are happening in the world? Disruptions. First, just study. Spend time. Take time out of the social media or any other thing which is taking your time, and get into the people who how they are struggling. What are the issues? What rest of the world is doing? Then you will get automatically motivated to do something. See, and once you start getting problem statement identification, you get to motivate to do something else will come only when you see somebody struggling, when you see some challenge, when you get somebody challenges you. So first, see, if you maintain status quo, nothing will happen. So the any 20-year boy who doesn't know what is going to happen in future, you must do only one thing: observe more, read more, listen more, and talk to the people who are successful, identify the right challenges. An ordinary housewife can give you many more ideas. I think any you go to your mother and ask her, she will be a brilliant person to give you 100 problem statements than otherwise what you would have imagined, because she lived her life. She know how she brought you up, what kind of a challenges she has gone through. Only talk to your mother carefully, listen to her, you will get hundreds of challenges that you can address and make most of the mothers in this world better, happy.
True, sir. Extremely true. I did say this is going to be the last question, but one last question, sir. You said that, people should go off to more successful people, strike a conversation with them. But most of us feel very, intimidated by people who are really successful. Like you have been a success story all over. So, sir, what would you like tell us so that we could go up to people like you and, strike up a conversation so that we may do something for the betterment of the whole world by forming such connections?
Let me tell you one thing: anybody who is successful knows what kind of a price he paid to be successful. Anybody is successful. Nobody is successful just like that. So they always want to share their knowledge. Only that people don't come to us. If you go ask any successful person, the one of the biggest thing is that serious people don't come to us. See, I've been telling people, if some youngster comes to me and tells a boy or girl tell that I want to be successful, I'll go out of the way to give some share somewhere. But somebody have to come to us. So they have you just write a mail, you just send a WhatsApp message. So you have to make your efforts to reach out to them. Mark my word, most of them will spend time with you.
So basically, as much as, big giants that we see, them as it's not as scary. They're at the end of the day humans being who are
No,
willing to help.
we are as human as somebody else. We fail, we say, and we know how much price we paid to be successful. So every day we go, we always feel that we should leave a legacy. There should be more people who are successful in this world. See, at one stage we all feel that the world should be a better place. So I would like more and more youngsters to do something better.
Thank you so much, sir, for
Thank you.
talking with us today. It has been quite a pleasant experience having this
Absolute
conversation with you. And I hope that, your Aquatech company comes up with many more innovations, that you launch many more businesses that will help our world. And once again, sir, thank you very, very much for
Thank
having
you.
this
Thank you.
talk.
Pleasure talking.
This is it for this episode of Untold Hypothesis. This is your host, Jia, signing off. For more such stories, please catch up on our official university channel. Thank you.